Hey guys, here we go. Carlos Alcaraz, Miomir Kecmanović. John is still wrapping up the Zverev Nori stream for you guys, but of course, if that will be over soon, then I think he will join. I think Vansh might also get here at some point. So all in all, we might have at some point, the action here with someone else as well. But for now, it's just me at the very beginning. Let's see how this one begins. I'm still trying to find my stream, but I think they will be on the court or starting up very, very soon. Carlos Alcaraz, Miomir Kecmanović. Speaking about this match, we've got them just one previous meeting, obviously. That was Miami last year, which was a really, really Miami 2022, which was a really high quality clash. Miomir Kecmanović actually ended up pushing Alcaraz very deep here. This was during that huge Miomir peak that he had at the beginning of the 2022 season. Now he's kind of in the same sort of patch since the Davis Cup finals, I would say. Just playing with more conviction, serving better, playing more aggressively, and that's the best version of Kecmanović. Can he actually push Alcaraz? My idea for this match is that he probably won't. Two reasons. So Alcaraz was supposed to maybe play Tommy Paul in the fourth round here, and Tommy has been a dangerous opponent for him. I think some of the things that Tommy can do against Alcaraz would just really counter punch off the ground and not give him as much time on the shots. Kecmanović can do it too. However, Kecmanović is very limited offensively compared to Tommy Paul. And he doesn't present the same threat. He won't be closing down the net. It's just not really what he is. It's not really in his comfort zone, in his arsenal. So that's the reason why I think Kecmanović is in more trouble here than a Tommy Paul would be. And also the fact that Kecmanović is coming off a couple of 5-setters, very tight match with Watanuki even in the opening round, but then against Jan-Lennard Struff, he saved 2 match points, and against Tommy Paul, he did save 2 match points as well, both of them going into the 5th set. Against Paul, he saved these match points in the 4th set tiebreak, against Struff in the 5th set tiebreak. So I do think that Kecmanović might be getting kind of wary at this point. They have just started, by the way, Alcaraz with a huge forehand counter to give him the first point of the match, cross court, but then he actually has a shot at claiming the next point as well and misses a volley, which was fairly routine, but I guess his timing on it wasn't that easy. Now we see a short 3-point as well for Kecmanović on serve. When it comes to the other matches, actually Cam Norrie has 2 set points now to get it to the 5th set against Alexander Zverev. So that would be a big hit to Zverev's chances maybe as well when it comes to the potential Alcaraz quarterfinal, or maybe Zverev doesn't even get through the 5th set against Norrie, who knows. And also we have the women's match between Anna Kalinskaya and Jasmine Paolini. Kalinskaya has just claimed the opening set. I said yesterday that Kalinskaya is the only favorite on the women's side I am confident in. And we'll see if that holds up. So far, so good for the Russian, who's been in amazing form the past couple of months, basically winning 125k in Midland, finishing runner-up at a 125k in Tampico. That's end of 2023, and also, of course, this year she's only lost to Kasatkina and Azarenka so far. Kecmanović just held a quick game. Of course, there was that volley miss from Alcaraz, which could have given him low 30. I have to say that the return is probably what's been the patchiest for Alcaraz so far. Especially on second serve, he just goes for it quite a lot and shanks, especially against Sonego. He kind of let Lorenzo back into the match for a fair bit due to that. First serve maybe as well. So we'll see if Kecmanović can keep up that improved serving performance of late. Maybe he has a shot here. I wonder if on the Alcaraz serve, it's not going to be a little tough for him though, as Carlos has been serving well this week so far, even if maybe he hasn't been tested other than the Sonego match. And also, I just think he has a pretty good lead in any neutral rally because he just can do so much more with the ball. improvise, but also accelerate more than Kecmanović, and yeah. But still, we remember that Miami match, which was one of the best of 2022. I think probably my favorite match of 2022 if another Alcaraz match didn't happen, along with, which was, of course, against Djokovic in Madrid. But if it wasn't the case, I think maybe maybe Alcaraz Kecmanović would have been my favorite, actually. Michael says that Alcaraz gonna smack Djokovic rematch, I guess in the final then. Yeah, we'll see if they get there first, but Djokovic Sinner looks like a very good potential semi. I do think that if we get to the final, they will all have their chances, really. Like it will be a bit like with Wimbledon, where you think because of the conditions, because of the venue, that Djokovic is a really strong favorite, but actually, like once players of this caliber face each other, then probably it's going to be close anyway. What a cross-court forehand here from Alcaraz. I don't know if he had to go for it, but out of position, he just blasts it cross-court, and it's a ridiculous shot. Kecmanović thought he was in control of the point, but Alcaraz just quickly says no. But yes, Zverev going into the fifth set. So that match is still going, and this is, of course, the potential rival for these players as well. What does that mean? That Zverev is going 5 with Nori. Probably doesn't bode too well for his chances, but we know he's often dropping sets left and right. Probably more worrisome is his top 10 for him if he plays Alcaraz in the quarters, is his top 10 record at the slams. But then again, it includes one win over Carlos Alcaraz, though a couple of years ago. Yeah, another pretty poor first serve return for Alcaraz, not feeling it at all yet. I'll be back in 15 seconds. Just have to do one thing.
Hi, everyone. I think you can hear me. Damien, can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, yes. I went somewhere for 15 seconds.
Oh, it's fine.
To fix my toilet flush because it's been like...
Welcome to live, whatever it is, what live coverage on Talking Toilets.
Toilets,
cool.
Yes.
So I've left the other stream basically to tell everyone to come over here, and I'm actually going to keep watching Nori Zverev because they're into a fifth set, so it makes sense for me to keep an eye on that one.
Go. For sure. Hey, Jake. I saw you were referencing our Krejcikova debate with Vansh in a Twitter comment just a second ago. Yeah, because I tweeted about the doubles quarterfinal between Krejcikova and Siniakova, and Jake is like, Krejcikova's singles match should be good too.
Little tease.
Inside joke for the true fans of Talking Tennis.
Yes, the ones that have been here for the last 5 or 6 hours.
Exactly. And it looks like Alcaraz might be stepping up here. Big second serve return inside out forehand, 1540. And we are experiencing the first break points of the match. He has started very well, like hitting some ridiculous shots, maybe a little, low margin, but who cares if they're going in? Let's see what Kecmanović can produce here. Actually, a nice angle from him. Twice. Athleticism of Alcaraz, though, is just amazing. And a dead net court gives him the break. Like, he sort of won it for himself because the way he got to a couple of these huge Kecmanović forehands here, that was impressive. But, of course, eventually kind of unlucky for Miomir as well. Kind of. Really unlucky. Like Alcaraz's last slice was like maybe barely going to make it over the net, maybe was going to stay in the tape, but actually just touches it, and yeah, it lands. Even though Kecmanović was close to the net, there's just nothing you can do.
How scary is that? You got me twice now.
Yes.
Is there an echo now, by the way?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on. Maybe not now.
Now it's okay. Yes.
There you go. You got me twice in 2 different angles. One showing the streamline effect that you're going to have to get past if you're going to beat me at tennis.
Yeah, I don't know. As I said many times, I think it would be exciting, but I have no clue who can be better. I would assume you are better.
Really?
Yeah. I guess you play more. You
maybe, but I don't know. With all of you, the only one I know I think I would lose to would be Vanch, because of his
Jack
CV.
Probably. I mean,
maybe, yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe Jack is a great coach. I don't know whether.
I mean, I know you don't need to be a great player to be a great coach, but
sure.
I think just given the amount of time he spends on the court, I would assume that, yeah. I know it's not necessarily playing, but still, I think he probably hits a lot of balls with the proteges, if you may.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vanch did play some junior stuff, so I think anyone who did, I would definitely lose to. We were always talking about it with Jakub as well, because he did play a lot of junior tennis in like Slovakia when he was like 14, 13. But yeah, he always said that since he hasn't had a racket in his hand for like the past 5 years, I would probably beat him. Also because he was, chubby, let's say. And I don't think it was right. I think still like the amount of training that he got early on would have been enough, I think, to beat me, regardless of fitness and physique. But we, of course, never got the chance to check that.
Yeah. Okay, I've ended the other stream now, actually. So
okay.
Although you still got my 2 cameras here, so
yes,
people are getting freaked out. I think I might even be able to get a 3rd camera, with the view that I have from my window of Rio, but it might take me a few minutes to sort it out. But I'll give that some consideration
if you want to. Yeah. By the way, is Zverev up a break?
Yeah.
They've said.
Oh, is he? Oh, I should probably know that.
Yeah, actually, I was like,
that was my job.
Because you never said anything, probably. You probably don't know what happened. So
I'm just seeing it now, actually. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm surprised it's gone 5. To be fair, Noi was the better player in the 4th set. He had 2 breakpoint opportunities at the beginning of the 4th set, which I thought he was going to regret because he had a really good chance on a forehand.
How does that reflect on, like, how does that bode for Zverev's chances against Alcaraz potentially, or Nori's chances, really? Is that like a super physical match?
No, not that physical. I thought you actually were thinking about Zverev's form more than anything else, but that's why I was kind of
both. Like,
yeah, well, in terms of the form, I wouldn't worry too much. I think Zverev's body of work over the last 6 months is probably more telling than today necessarily, and it'll be an extremely different match should he play Alcaraz anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much. By the way, you're talking to someone who's seen 1 set of this match, and that was a set that Sasha won actually. Oh yeah, did I watch the end of the other set? Yeah, I think I caught the set that Sasha won. Oh no, so I caught 2 sets. Yeah, Sasha won.
I thought you saw more of that, but I guess
no, I wasn't watching when Vanch was
watching it all the time. Yeah.
I was letting Vanch's words take control.
So from Vanch's perspective, of course, we got this angle about Nori being just the best player ever. So
yeah, but in terms of the physicality, this is not Zverev Sinner. 5 hours at gone midnight and extremely hot, horrible conditions where neither player is moving comfortably, like we saw in New York. So again, bearing in mind he'll also finish an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours before Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos is basically ball bashing, and it's all working. So I can't complain. The point that he just played was pretty stunning with the inside-out backhand winner to clinch it as well. Three-one Alcaraz, and things aren't looking too great for Kecmanović early. Like when he's accelerating on the forehand, and he's actually like trying. You can see that Kecmanović is trying to go out of his comfort zone shell and be a little more aggressive, be a little more imposing than usual. But Alcaraz generally gets to these shots. He's just so fast. He's just so athletic. And then he just ups the pace kind of at will. And so far, it's not been a right combo for Kecmanović to really stick around in this match. Now the short slice as well gives him a lot of issues. I think especially if maybe Alcaraz can start returning first serve a bit better, because on the second he's been actually okay the last game or so, but the first has been a bit spotty. And also I think Alcaraz is playing like fast enough and like blowing like that, just hitting his shots hard enough that there's always a chance that he has a weaker patch here and maybe gives Kecmanović some errors, but for now, at least the start for him is really as good as it could be.
Couple of 8 points here for Cam Noy. Nice, Cam. Not enough, though. Good defense from Sasha. Oh, Cam. Missing that forehand. He's really making inroads on the serve of Sasha, which is really quite surprising.
I was once again thinking of drinking that beer, but what the hell I'm talking about? It's 9 a.m. Perhaps that's why I don't feel like it. Maybe off stream in the evening it will be a better.
Yeah, it does feel weird. A couple of times I've done night shifts and I've had a drink with the guy that I did the night shift with. We did it twice. It was fun. It was fine. But yeah, it's surreal when you then go home at 9:30. Having had a few drinks, if you like, because the night shift would finish at 6. I remember once we had a couple of beers, then we had some pancakes, and then we drank some wine, and it was like 9:30, and we were merry, let's say, and then we go home.
Yeah.
Or actually, one of us went home that particular because I was hosting. So, but then he hosted the next one. Cam Noy broke back. I just think that although you could say the performance from Sasha has been underwhelming, I just think it'll be totally different against Carlos, and Carlos gives you a different chance in a way. Maybe more chances in a funny kind of way.
Different focus, different dynamics. Yeah, makes sense.
And I don't think actually Zverev has sort of not been great at this tournament. I mean, I'm saying that having not really seen him play, but I remember 5 sets against a German. Was it in the first round?
Kepfer 4 sets.
Yeah, was it 4? Was it okay?
Yeah,
maybe it was close sets. Maybe Kupfer had a chance to make it 2 sets.
Third set tiebreak was basically the most important there.
Okay. Did Zverev drop another set? Someone else?
He lost 2 sets to Lucas Klein, but I think that match was actually like excellent from start to finish from both. He just wasn't really able to do much because Klein was just killing every single ball he saw. But yeah, I don't really think that Zverev would have been complaining about his performance there.
Okay.
But yeah, then of course he beats Alex Mikkelsen in 3 sets. Only the second set is any close. But yeah, it's pretty common for Zverev to drop sets left and right.
I tell you what has kind of gone off my mental consideration in the last 12, 18 months or so, partly because he was off tour for some of this period. But I mean, since he came back on tour for Sasha, is that this mental anxiety that you would always see from him with the unbelievably tame second serve when he gets tight. I just don't remember that happening so often since he returned to the tour. But maybe he's just not been in so many high-pressure situations.
Also, there are two huge things, which one is that he has an extremely high first serve percentage, like compared to most other players, given how much he actually has on it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, also he often goes for his second serve, like he just blasts it. Maybe
Okay.
this maybe the same as the first. Sometimes more. I mean, more maybe not, but sometimes lower, sometimes the same. But like he actually goes for his serve quite a lot.
Always has
I
done, or
wonder.
more so even now than ever? Because I've seen some
Probably
pretty
more
famous.
so. Probably more so. I think you would sometimes see him go for it in like individual situations. I think right now he does it pretty often, and yet the percentages are just so high considering how the service has a lot of quality on it as well. By the way, like if I'm gonna check that now, and do you think that he might, like, out of the top 50, he might have the highest first serve percentage out of anyone? Is there anyone in the top 50 who has a horrible serve and like won't be, will be like sort of Sara Errani type of deal where?
I mean, I would have thought Novak would have the highest, if that's what you're saying.
Not percentage of first serve points won.
Okay, just first serves in.
Yes, that's what I'm going. That's what I'm talking about. It should be Zverev, right? I mean, I can't really come up with anyone else. I think Isner used to top these leaderboards a lot, but I think it could be Zverev easily.
It's not a stat that I would say I'm across.
Okay, so the two players that I had in mind actually are at the top, and Zverev is second, and the first is Sebastian Baez.
Oh wow, okay.
I had Baez in mind because he was like, I was looking for a clay courter who's in the top 50 and probably doesn't have a big serve and he doesn't like go for it too much. But yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Zverev like has a ridiculously high percentage for the power and for the angles that he goes for on the first serve. So he's not using the second serve that much, if you may.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to his double fault percentage, for example, he's not that high also on that list, like probably about 20th. So it's nothing crazy, He basically has the same as like Jere, Musetti, a little lower than Ruud. So yeah, he's not double faulting too much. But yeah, his first serves in percentage has been really, really high. I think that probably goes for most of his career too. Like I don't think it's new for him, but that definitely helps him avoid the second serve issues because he's just not hitting too many second serves, which is the best way of avoiding issues if you have some with a shot of yours. Like if you have a horrible backhand, just don't hit it. Just hit everything off your forehand. Easier said than done. And of course, it massively depends on your opponent, but try to maximize it at least. Over the course of the last 52 weeks, Zverev has only had 5 matches when his first serve percentage was below 60%. He only won 2 of these as well. And he's had plenty when the percentage was above 80. Which, of course, as I said it many times, like first serve percentage is a flawed stat because sometimes you might not be going for as much. You might take a few kilometers off and just make sure that you get your first serve in, depending on the matchup, or you might be going for your spots a lot more, or just might be feeling it really well that day. But I think in his case, it's pretty clear that he goes for it almost all the time and just has a very, very, very high percentage in general. Which makes it kind of strange that it's not like, a top 2 or 3 serve in the game, I guess. But it is, of course, top 10. Mm-hmm.
Regarding Matthew's comment here, I mean, draws can evolve. And of course, there was a possible, I think, Jack Draper, Kecmanović. I don't know who else were potentials at this particular round for Alcaraz. I think Dan Evans was a potential round 2 opponent, but that never happened. So,
yeah, but Sonego or Evans, that was like the same. But yeah, he avoided Bublik in round 3, which was a big deal. And now here he avoided Tommy Paul. I never considered Draper a threat for the second week.
Yeah, true. Tommy Paul was the one. So that's the evolution of a draw. But I still think his quarterfinal opponent, if it is Sasha Zverev, when you compare it to who Yannick has and who Carlos has. Who Novak has, and that's the contemporaries we obviously compare Carlos to. Carlos has the tougher one of the three. But then I guess in the semi-final, maybe a little bit more favourable for him than those two players who obviously could potentially be facing each other.
Yeah, I think when the draw came out, we were like saying that round one is very easy for Carlos, and also the semifinals is better than getting Sinner, but the rests of the rounds are actually really tough. However, of course, yeah, as the draw sort of that's the same for many other players like Coco Gauff. We are thinking, okay, Fernandez Garcia, that's tough. This might make her actually the most vulnerable of the top four before the semis. But of course, she doesn't get anyone like that, and doesn't really get anyone who's a bigger threat than Kostyuk, whom she's going to play in the quarterfinals. There's also on the other side of the argument, there's Świątek's draw, which I guess works for both, really, because in the first three rounds, like Collins beats Kerber, the more dangerous player. Noskova beats Buskova in the opening round, wins her second round as well. So the most dangerous player gets to the third round as well. Svitolina gets to the fourth round, although, as we know, she probably wouldn't have been too much of a threat today. But still, like the first 3 or 4 rounds were simply all the dangerous players we were expecting there, and all of them were also peaking. Whereas actually after that, she would have had a pretty clean run to the final, right? Quarters, semis. If there was a Świątek or a Rybakina in the top half of the draw right now, we would be basically like just penciling them into the final already.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, big assumptions about the draw definitely aren't the best, but sometimes we can just say that if that happens, like if the actual players get there, it will be pretty tough. And of course, it depends on our confidence in said players. But that's why I many times said that, like Świątek, Rybakina, the fact that they're in the same half, it doesn't really matter to me all that much in the best of 3 format, because it's so tough to get there. It's a different case with Sabalenka and Gauff here, maybe, because Gauff had these 2 problematic rounds. Sabalenka didn't really have a threat on the way to the semis for the most part. Of course, she still has to beat Krejcikova to get there, but the forefront was maybe
quarterfinal
really
potentially.
Quarterfinal? I mean, we already have it, Krejcikova.
Oh, okay, that's Krejcikova. Okay, sorry. I actually think the evolution of Sabalenka's draw, one that we looked at the beginning of the tournament, saying it looked more favourable in comparison to, say, Iga. I think the evolution of her draw kind of got a little bit worse, and let me explain. We expected it to be okay until maybe the semis, but then as the tournament progressed, those 3 rounds at the beginning kind of were a breeze for her. I don't remember who we were predicting her to play. They may well have been different opponents, but I anticipated her to get to the 4th round without too many troubles. And then suddenly in the 4th round, she's playing Anisimova. Now, I didn't anticipate that. I don't think many people probably did. But having seen the way Anisimova was playing, and then you looked at the head-to-head, you thought, oh, okay, this suddenly gets interesting. Although she won,
but I think we are thinking Pavlyuchenkova there, so that's not a big difference.
True, but I also think that her path now, which is directly compared to Coco's, those are the 2 favourites for the tournaments. I think she had the trickier 4th round and quarterfinal compared to Coco.
Yes, but that's because Coco's draw fell apart.
Yeah,
hers fell apart rather than Sabalenka's got trickier, I would say. And maybe it's different threats than we were thinking of when it comes to Sabalenka, but they're also not that tough. I mean, Krejcikova, Anisimova. So I think what we said at the beginning about Sabalenka's draw actually held up throughout the event, just because there weren't like, if there's no threat in your draw from the get-go, then there's not gonna, like, maybe sometimes someone can emerge out of nowhere, like, I don't know, Berrettini to Alcaraz at Wimbledon last year. But it's different in Coco's case, because there she actually had threats, and that can always go away just because they lose their matches. And by the way, someone who doesn't lose her match today is Anna Kalinskaya beating Jasmine Paolini. As I said yesterday, that was the only favorite I was confident in, so I'm glad she made it. She does have like a lot of upsides rather than Paolini, I think, in an individual match. But even going forwards, compared to like the absolute peak of her game, the absolute ceiling that she can get. So anyway, the first 3 quarterfinalists on the women's side, we already know them. It's going to be Linda Noskova against Diana Yastremska, and Anna Kalinskaya also gets there. and she will face either Qinwen Zheng or Ocean Dodin. Zheng Dodin, of course, coming up after Kecmanović Alcaraz on Rod Laver Arena.
Among the women, I think she was the one that I had down as the most likely. But I will say this: I thought Zverev was the most likely among the men. But Matthew has a different take on this Zverev Cam Norrie match, although he is maybe a little bit late with this. But I trust you, Matthew, that you always thought Norrie had a chance, or you fancied him, which is, I guess, a prediction of Norrie winning, which is still finely balanced because they are on serve. But Norrie has got the slight advantage in that he served first in this set, so he's 3-2 up. I still expect Sasha to come through. It'll be interesting. That nerve will be tested if it goes to a fifth set tiebreak, mind you.
Well, he's already played one, and he was actually really good at it. Like he didn't give Klein anything.
Klein.
Yes, he didn't give Klein anything. I think he won all of his points on serve in the 17 points tiebreak. It got to 8-7 without any mini breaks, I believe, and then he won this ridiculous point where he like defends 5 or 6 shots, and that basically would have been point winning in other situations, and Klein eventually misses a volley, and that was it. But I think that tiebreak was probably spotless from him on serve. Of course, he also had recently another 10-point tiebreak that was amazing from him on serve, although he only served like 4 or 5 times there. And I'm thinking of that one between him and Zygmunt against Świątek.
Oh, yeah.
Let me quickly check that about the Klein super tiebreaker, if that was actually the case, that there were no mini breaks until 8-7, but that's the way I remember it, at least. I remember that like Klein was always under pressure because Zverev was just winning these service points pretty easily. He was missing some forehand returns, though, in that tiebreak. Like the forehand returning could have been better. That's why Klein was also like allowed to hang around until 8-7 pretty much, until that great defensive point from Sasha. But I think, let me see that. Yeah. Oh, he actually lost a point on serve, but it was at 7-all or at 7-6. But yeah, there was a large sort of part of the tiebreak when he was not losing points on serve, and I think on serve he was pretty spotless there. So his performance under pressure in that match was definitely really good, but we'll see if that remains the case here against a more established opponent in a deeper stage as well, at a deeper stage of the event. Yeah, Alcaraz is just going for everything today. I mean, just tries to hit ridiculous shots on the run. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't, but given he's still 40-30 up, it probably won't matter. But fair to say that he's enjoying himself.
Okay. Still need to see Alcaraz beat a big opponent, and so I guess Djokovic Sinner is what I mean by that. And we haven't seen him beat either of those players since Wimbledon. I don't know how many matches it is. It won't be that many, but it'll be 3 or 4. He's played Djokovic twice since then, and Sinner once. That's what I would say off the top of my head.
Since when?
Since Wimbledon.
Well, Djokovic, Cincy, and the ATP Finals, and Sinner only Beijing.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah,
guess that makes sense. Yeah.
But the last 2 were very comfortable wins for Novak and Jannik.
Yeah, I guess Jannik, the first set was pretty tight. Djokovic, of course, very comfortable. But as we said, like back-to-back Novak performances, that ATP Finals, semi, and final, that might be the best Novak has ever played, which is pretty sick. Yeah. But also, of course, indoors, very fast court, even though this one is probably not Alcaraz's favorite in the world either. I believe that he will still feel okay here compared to Turin. And of course, he did win Wimbledon last year, so it's not like he cannot handle something that's faster and lower bouncing. Wimbledon might be the slowest grass court event on tour, but still, it is like medium fast at least. So
Zverev held for 3-all, and now we've got Norrie 30-love up on serve, so nothing wild happening at the moment. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. So it's 15:30 on the Norwich serve. I've actually got my scores the wrong way around. So 15:30 on the Norwich serve. So he is in a bit of trouble here. I'll see Alcaraz is serving for the set.
No, yeah, Kecmanović basically just held. So it's going to be after the changeover.
It's not quite hit the Miami heights yet, this match, then.
Yeah, definitely not. And I don't think it will.
Alcaraz does have a habit, though, of bringing out the most spectacular in his opponents. I mean, I think, this is pre-puke Yannick Sinner, of course, and also Dan Evans spring to mind. Oh, Cam. Dan Evans is quite spectacular, but I think he goes up a notch when he plays Alcaraz. 15:40 now on the Norwich serve after he sprayed a backhand wide. It's very loose service game, this from Cam. Zverev not done a huge amount to get to 15:40. So
That's
Cam.
already. Wait. No. Against Nori, he won. Sorry, against Ruth, he won in 4, right? Nori. So Zapieri, it was a 5-setter. So it's his second 5-setter of the event.
Cam thought about coming to the net and didn't. Oh, well done, Cam. That was super close to the line, but it was enough. 30-40.
That was a reaction to the Alcaraz forehand, which was just, just too fast. I mean, you can't handle it, and I don't really know who will.
It's interesting, the forehand, because it has come under a bit of scrutiny in the last 6 months.
Why?
People have
defensively or offensively? Because that's a big
I
difference.
Think. Offensively. A bit loose.
Yeah, maybe. But when he is in control and like he's the one dealing these blows, I mean, he's been fine anyway. When has he last lost when he was not like the dictating player? Like all the losses are basically him either playing someone like Djokovic, who's just so efficient, or Safiullin, who rushes him, Sinner, who rushes him. Like he rarely loses in a match like this with Kecmanović, where I think really relies on him, and he has all the time in the world to blast that shot and eventually maybe tune it in, even if it wouldn't be good at first. Well, maybe Djokovic, you could argue, but I sort of just am trying to keep Djokovic in a different category.
Mm-hmm. Zverev this time's turn to and it's deuce. Zverev was very frustrated with that one.
Yeah, that's looking like a very messy match. I might turn it on for a while after the Alcaraz first set tiebreak. First set, because just looks like it will be an entertaining finish there, even if maybe not of such high quality.
And Zverev goes long there, and I thought it was going to just land in. I thought Cam was going to have a really tricky shot to stay in the rally, but it went long. So, and look at Zverev there screaming at his team.
Yeah, maybe I was giving the set to Alcaraz a bit too early.
I see that, yeah.
The shorter return from Kecmanović giving him a pretty uncomfortable ball, and he throws it out. So maybe it's not over yet, although a first serve return like this from Kecmanović will not help. I know it's a first serve return, so maybe I shouldn't be criticizing him, but like he had it entirely on his racket. I'm not really sure what sort of target Alcaraz was going for. Probably didn't really go as planned, but exactly in the hit strike zone of Kecmanović, and he doesn't take the opportunity to even put it back in play.
This rally, wow, from both players. Maybe at the end, Cam could have and should have done better. It feels like Cam is doing most of the running here, by the way.
He's got these huge lungs, and he cycles to Wimbledon.
I know. And he doesn't look flustered at the end of these incredibly lung-bursting rallies. Like saw Camilla George the other day really struggling, and then she got a time violation warning, for example.
Camilla Giorgi doesn't play rallies, so
She was struggling physically against, I think it was Azarenka. She went out.
Azarenka, yeah. She only played one round, so it has to be Azarenka.
So we're back at deuce. I mean, no, it did probably just let Zverev off the hook slightly, but it was an excellent stop volley. Oh, that backhand cam. It just looks so awkward, and it produced an awkward result that time by going into the net. So it's a break point now for Zverev, his third one of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to start watching that a bit as well, since, as I said,
Alcaraz has got it done. Yeah,
Alcaraz won the first set indeed. Very routine the next couple of points, just big serves, nothing else. And this looks like a fun mess.
Yeah. And Zverev goes long, letting Noi off the hook there.
Yeah, that was a pretty horrific miss to start watching the match from me. Just
I don't think physically I think physically he'll be okay. He looks fine to me, Sasha, in terms of that. The form could be a question mark. I just think with Sasha, his route to the quarterfinal might not matter that much in the way he's playing. I just think he's going to be a tricky opponent for Carlos. And if Carlos gets the job done in straights as he did, I think, did they play each other? They played each other US Open, of course, but that was perhaps physically.
yeah. Zverev wasn't too fresh there.
Well, this is an interesting rally too. Well done, Cam. Game point now for the Brit.
I guess it doesn't really matter, like the form of Zverev going into the second week, but then again, he also has a horrible record against the top 10 at the slams.
Oh, thank you. I think I might have made a mistake with my scheduling. It looks like, is that what I've done in the chat? That's good to know, because I do that mistake quite a bit. I see. I think it's the Sinner Rublev match. I think I've scheduled it wrong. Yeah.
Oh, for the 22nd, not for the 23rd. Yeah. Okay.
I think I'll fix that now. Thank you. I do very much appreciate that from someone. Thanks, Sean.
Thankfully, we have our viewers to keep us in check here.
Absolutely, yeah. Maybe I'm right and the Australian organisers are wrong. Maybe Sinner and Rublev are paying attention to our scheduling, and they're about to turn up on Rod Laver. And they're like, hang on a second, Talking Tennis said we're playing. And they show on their phones, look, Talking Tennis. And Craig Tyler's like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't care what Talking Tennis says. Funny enough, that would be the roles reversed when Novak turns up at the airport and shows like Tennis Australia headed paper to say you can enter the country. And the authorities are like, I don't care if Craig Tiley says you enter the country.
But Craig Tiley says that, so we scheduled this match for Sinner Rublev for the 23rd, and on Talking Tennis, it's on the 22nd. Let's call Yannick and Andre, get on the court.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's stream it.
Right.
Tell John and Damien to be ready in 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure that's what Craig Tiley would have said.
Oh, of course. I mean, he's swayed by Talking Tennis for sure.
Craig Tiley already announced that Rafael Nadal is going to play the Australian Open 2027.
He also announced Federer like 6 months before, didn't he? 1 year when Federer hadn't played for a year, I think. Yeah, actually, this distance run thing. Oh, actually, funny enough, despite what I said, the stats say something else, so that's fair enough. Basically, they both run exactly the same, 3.4K.
The whole match or the
whole match, both last 3,400 meters, basically. Jake is asking about your match, I guess. How's it been so far?
So I turned over to Zverev Nori after Alcaraz won the first set, but like Carlos was just really free flowing, very just willing to go for every shot, which sometimes can of course lead to some wild errors and etc. But yeah, right now he was just really firing on all cylinders. When Kecmanović tried to take over, tried to take some initiative, he was just getting to everything, like the athleticism, the speed, getting some good defensive gets back. And he was also just like way too pacey on the forehand side for Kecmanović in the first set. If he keeps it up, it's going to be very hard for Miomir to stay in touch with him. Also, I have to note, though, that the break was done via a very, very dirty net court. So
Oh, really?
it was still 15-40, so maybe Carlos would have broken anyway. But like it was pretty absurd. Like he gets a few amazing shots back. It's really like perfect defensive scrambling, and he has this slice that is maybe gonna barely make it over the net. That's what it seems to me. But it touches the net, and even though Kecmanović is so close to the net, actually he was like in the middle of the court. There's no way to get there. Like it was just really a dirty dead net court. But of course, that maybe wouldn't have mattered since he still had one more break point. Who knows? But still, that's how Kecmanović lost his serve. And I think that, Carlos has just been very, very free, swinging very freely and just very loose so far. Loose in a good way, at least for in the opening set. Maybe later on it can be a little different.
That's Zverev shank, but it is 40-15, so he's got a bit of a cushion here.
Terry says that Carlos the more skillful player, but making silly errors. And yeah, I mean, he isn't playing like super smart so far. He's just sort of going for every shot and out of position, also trying to just blast the ball. And well, if it works, it works. Often he has the talent to pull it off, of course. But yeah, until Zverev and Norrie finish, I probably will keep watching this one since it seems like it will be a chaotic finish.
I'm leaving the Kecmanović Alcaraz score on the screen at least. Mm-hmm. I mean, occasionally I might switch that up, but for now I'll leave it on there. Good drop shot, but not going to win the point, and Zverev does, and therefore seals the game 4-all. It wasn't a bad drop shot. I just think it was the next shot afterwards that I'm just going to watch it again. Yeah, probably could have done a bit better with that half volley. So 4-all, as you were.
15 unforced errors in the fifth set, Norrie, 5 Zverev. But that also kind of tells you who's been like the player taking risks in the fifth, and Zverev sort of reverting into his
I agree. Although
lockdown mode of sorts.
Sometimes Norrie's sort of heart in the mouth moments, maybe on big points, he did go for a bit, and there's an unforced error from Cam.
Yeah, you got Cam is definitely taking more risks.
Oh, I see. 15-5. Okay, I thought it was 15-5 the other way around.
No, 15
from Cam.
Yeah. Zverev just sort of trying to outlast him, and has very little confidence in his shots. But that's also a classic Zverev thing to do, right?
Nice one, Cam. Kept you cool there. 15-all. In the battle of the silly necklaces.
Norrie also has one?
Yeah, silly.
Okay.
He's always won.
Zverev I know, but
I know.
Norrie
Zverev has like 3. Zverev's like Mr. T.
Zverev is like this is like, oh, okay, Norrie also has one. Yeah, you're right. Now that I see him with it, that all makes sense. Zverev just looks like basically Russians in the 90s, right? Like they all used to wear it. Of course, he is of Russian origin, so it's probably no accident either. But it's like this stereotype of a Russian in Poland in the 90s. Like that was literally Zverev.
Good defense there from Zverev, but wow, Cam Norrie just played the perfect point. People that were across the match before I were saying that now Norrie was attacking the net quite a bit. some of the moments I've seen, I mean, he attacks the net there, but it's the right decision, if you like, rather than it's not like a tactical decision. But actually, I saw him a couple of times. He's coming into the net there. It's okay for him. There was a couple of times I saw him where he could have come into the net and didn't. Anyway, more importantly, the present is 40-15, 2-game points.
Still, it's like a more proactive version of Nori. Of course, he's not going to be there all the time. That probably wouldn't work out for him in the long run either, especially with Zverev being pretty strong on his passing shot game and etc. But yeah, this is that Nori of the Rude match, rather than the one from Zepieri round 2, where like the only thing he could have done was outlast Julio, like literally nothing else in his game, nothing else that would have allowed him to like extinguish the fire coming from the Zepieri forehand. Whereas the last 2 rounds, he's actually taking initiative and yeah, outplaying these guys. At least from what I've seen so far. Of course, it doesn't mean he's gonna win the match, but
I mean, he's absolutely playing at the absolute peak of his powers here, Cam.
Yeah.
Still fancy Zverev to get the job done. Oh, yeah.
So I guess the women's today has also not given us a classic yet. The men's, just one so far, and this is the classic. It's not Hurkacz-Kazan, it's Zverev Nori. That's the classic we have for today.
I did enjoy Azarenka Yastremska, though. I would say that it wasn't obviously a classic, but it was actually entertaining, and the result was in doubt throughout. Really, I thought that Yastremska might have difficulty serving out. She did serve it out quite comfortably, but you had no, even at 5-7, 6, 5-4, you didn't really know, because they just kept breaking each other's serve non-stop. So Zverev, is that double fault, is it? Love 15?
Yeah.
6-1 of the day. Just one double fault from Cam Nori the whole match. And by the way, he's turned into a bit of an ace bot as well. He's got quite a few aces in this match. I think him and they're basically even on aces, about 10 all or 11 all, something like that. Might be just one to the advantage of Zverev. So this is huge. And I wonder if Nori will be thinking about how huge it is. Oh, Cam. Not an unforced error, I don't think, but still one that he would have hoped to get over the net at the very least.
And I think that's very forehand as well was like pretty similar to the error that he made a couple of games ago, where he actually doesn't get the contact point right. The one that he threw out down the line. It was a pretty horrible miss there. So it's not like he's playing without nerves right now. No, he's actually super tense. Yeah, every single shot is like a bit of an unknown, whether he will actually land it or whether he will even set up for it well. Well, off the backhand, no, but yeah, off the forehand, he's just pushing.
Good depth this time, though, from the German. Set himself up a little bit, but good defense there from Cam. And now he's... Oh, Cam. 30-15. Cam did well to get himself back in the rally, and then he did the right thing by picking it up a bit, but he just didn't execute it at all.
Yeah, I mean, had to go for it. The opening was there.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it is a big opportunity missed. 15-0. A game that he can close out the match with, and yeah, we might remember that in a couple of games. And actually, by the way, yeah, like a bit earlier on, when I mentioned that Zverev doesn't have that high of a percentage of double faults, what I didn't take into consideration was that he also has a very high first serve percentage. So, like if you just look at straight up second serves, he is in, like, let's say the top 10 of the top 50, which is not that high, I suppose, but still, like when it comes to the actual double faults on second serve, or like per every second serve, he is pretty high on the list.
Okay.
He's not average anymore then, because yeah, of course, with the high first serve percentage, he's not hitting too many double faults, but that's also based on the fact that he doesn't get to hit many second serves. Of course, the highest and by far in the top 50, Alexander Bublik. Interestingly, Daniel Medvedev, though, the second. So that's somewhat interesting to me, that Medvedev hits 15% of Medvedev's second serves are double faults, and the same for Karatsev and Auger Aliassime. I wouldn't have really guessed that.
That seems quite a lot.
Yeah, that's a ton. I mean, of course, Bublik is at 24.5, but Bublik basically plays 2 first serves. So for Bublik, it's actually even quite low. You could argue 24.5.
That was a pretty good shot there from Zverev that made Norrie so it's 5-all.
Yeah, if Cam wins it, it really will be like the player who was more willing to invent, to create, is going to win. Like the player with balls. If Zverev wins, yeah, like he just dragged himself and Norrie through another 4-hour match, and maybe he's gonna still survive it. Who knows?
Now, Cam, can you stay cool? Ooh, just went a little bit long there. Love 15. Just created a thumbnail for last ball drops, and at the moment it has Cam Norrie looking happy, but I may have to change it.
You might, yeah. It's now up to 20 unforced errors for the set for Cam Norrie, to 6 from Zverev. Yeah, it is a pretty long set, though. Like, a lot of rallies get result in unforced errors rather than winners.
So it's another one. Love 30.
Yeah. Oh, it's not the highest quality, but it is a fun mess given where we are and the drama of the decider.
Ooh, I thought Zverev was going to make that passing shot. 15-30.
Yeah. Like, that was a perfect ball for him. I was very surprised that he didn't. The angle was open. The contact point was okay. Yeah.
Norrie would have had a big job to do, but he might have been up to it. He might have got a racket on it and just sort of
barely.
dinked it back.
If he did, I don't think he would have, still done enough to win the point.
Okay.
Like, the angle was really open. He would have been stretched so far wide. Yeah, I don't really see it. Like, this was a low 40 opportunity.
We're at 15-30. First serve still, because it's a net cord on the first serve. Second serve. To the rally here. This is an interesting one. Now, oh, nice one, Cam. I was about to say now Cam does come into the net, but actually it's a backhand winner, so 30-all. Thing is, though, when you love 30, you're not comfortable for 3 more points, even now.
It does look pretty comfortable to me.
Does it? Oh, well, maybe because you're 30 seconds ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep the spoilers to a minimum, but this was a good opportunity, I guess, to.
So that thumbnail can say the same again for the same. Oh, that's lovely, Cam.
Yeah. I mean, that one approach, of course, at love 30 was pretty shaky, but the next 2 points, I mean, nothing that Zverev can do, really. I mean, at least not when he's 2 meters behind the baseline and pushing. That's when he can't do anything about it.
The Nottingham Nadal.
The Nottingham Nadal? That's
Yeah,
a real
he's
thing.
been
That's a thing.
nicknamed that in the UK because
Jesus,
he's a
I've never
lefty.
heard it.
That's it. Yeah, it's only.
I understand, yeah, but well, it's like the right-handed Rafa for Kubler. Makes zero sense, but well, let's stick with it.
Oh no, I thought he'd done enough to win the point outright, but Zverev did really well to get a racket on that. But that's nice from Cam from Love 30.
Yeah, I don't know how Zverev even got it, honestly. Like falling down like this to get enough even thrust, to get enough even pace on the ball to actually make it go over the net. Like it seemed like it will just barely hit the racket, but well, of course, eventually Cam still had a put away volley on top of the net for that. So.
Kecmanović and Alcaraz remain on serve, but it's a very different feeling to their on serve than what we have here, obviously, now with Zverev serving to stay in the match. Did really well to get his racket on that. If someone caught that picture, that's a picture of the day. Although, of course, it doesn't mean anything, but no one will ever know that if you just show that picture. If Zverev wins the match and you just show a picture of him diving to that ball and you see he gets a racket on it. So Zverev will have to serve this again to stay in the match. From memory, he did fairly comfortably in the previous game, but there was that. I think that was the one where there was a rally where Cam was kind of up in the rally and then didn't execute a cross-court forehand, I'm going to say.
They sit out, yeah. I know what
yeah.
you mean. 15-0, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
He runs around it and then tries to go cross, yeah.
So 5-6, Alexander Zverev to serve. Cam Noy wins the first point or two, and things will get interesting. But of course, he gets the first serve in, and it's going to be a nice 1-2 for Sasha. 15-love.
Yeah, at least when he has a short ball, he's still capable of taking it. It's not like he's gonna push it even then.
No, but that was the right margin there. I mean, it wasn't super cautious, but it was with a bit of...
No. It was fine. Of course. It's funny that you said it, and you're gonna see why in a second. But
very similar point.
yeah, and that was not the right margin. That's
maybe not.
Really
no,
funny.
it was closer. Yeah, much closer.
That was too close for comfort. But anyway, of course, it goes in. So looks like we will get that 5th set tiebreak.
Yeah.
Second of the event for Zverev. Nori played the 5th setter against Zapieri, but he won the last 3 sets 6-2, 6-4, 6-4. So he didn't have a scenario like this yet where he plays a tiebreak in order to stay in the Australian Open. Whereas Zverev, he actually played 2 against Klein in the 4th and in the 5th.
Oh, because he was 2-1 down, was he, to Klein?
Yes, and in the 4th set, Klein had a break point at 4-all, where he was like a little overexcited and hits a couple of big forehands. One lands on the line, but the other is already out. But like you could see how he just goes, if he's full like body energy into it, like just you could see that he simply was very overeager to win the point, ended right there. Even though, of course, he is a player who like always goes for his shots, and the entire match he was killing the ball and literally just staying on top of every single point. You could see that for this one, he actually, just wanted it a little too much. At least wanted it to end. as early as possible. And then it did cost him the match, probably. But
that was a risky second serve from Zverev. I don't know if he intended on making it so deep. But Noi couldn't punish him. He clipped the net and it went wide. So it's 6 games all, and therefore you do the maths. Tiebreak time.
So Kecmanović Alcaraz still on serve. As I said earlier, we're going to be back to that one after Zverev and Nori finish. Just 3 more singles matches today, 2 of them playing right now, and of course Zheng Dodin after Alcaraz. Kecmanović.
And Nori puts a backhand into the net. So Zverev already up a mini break. Of course, this is a 1st to 10 scenario.
We'll see if both players remember about that.
I think maybe in men's it's a little easy. I don't know.
Why?
I just think, I don't know, 5th set. I don't know. It just feels like, of course it is. I don't know. Because women throughout the rest of the tour are playing 3rd set.
I see. Yeah, I got it. I got it now. Yeah, sure. Actually makes a bit of sense. Although I suppose we've already seen players mess up as well.
Men?
I guess it was mostly in the qualifying though. So like the 3rd sets, indeed.
Yeah.
Who was it this year? Diallo, Herbert, and also at Roland Garros last year, I remember Kotov's first round match. Whoever it was against, he lost as a big favorite, maybe to Hertz, Michael Hertz from Belgium, I think maybe. But yeah, that was 3 sets. So yeah, maybe we haven't seen it in the 5th set tiebreak. That's a fair point. Yeah.
Oh, nice one, Cam. It's not enough to win the point. Really good defense. Goes for the drop, and it works. Very nice, Cam. 1 point all.
Yeah, it was Kotov Hertz that I was thinking of. But indeed, the 2 examples that I can come up with off the top of my head were qualifying. So best of 3.
Playing with his food. I don't know if that's a metaphor or it's actually literally he is playing with his food.
Maybe Kecmanović is treated as like,
yeah,
his
exactly.
food,
Just
and
like he's toying with him. Yeah.
I suppose that's what Terry's going for.
Ace from Alexander Zverev. So we are on serve here, though. 2-1 or 1-2, I should say, as Nori now takes up the mantle of serving. Goes out wide, backhand return. Should win the point and does. So it's 2-all.
Indeed, Alcaraz breaks. So the hyena has managed to get the whatever, the carcass. No, I don't know if they actually feed on that. Vultures do, but hyenas. Hyenas as well, right? Hyenas do this.
Listen, I actually have a personal anecdote which is relevant to this conversation. Where in South Africa, I had a hyena. One of my coolest experiences with animals, anyway. Oh, a Cam Nori drop shot doesn't work, and so now the advantage is back with Zverev. 3-2. He leads on with now to serve 2 serves. Yeah, hyena had been feasting. In fact, a group of hyenas were feasting. It felt like a vulture-like scenario that they'd just seen a bit of meat on the side of the road, and they were just feeding off that. One of them decided to then approach the car that I was in, and of course you actually cocooned, and very safely so, in the car. In fact, the hyena's not paying any attention to you. But bearing in mind the damage the hyena could do to you, it's still like an interesting moment. And the hyena, I'll never forget, it's just sort of bouncing its head past as it comes past my car, and I can see the blood on the top of the head. That's not blood from it's not blood from the hyena. It's blood from obviously what
from the
feasting on.
from the
That's ugly. That's ugly.
Yeah, he's now going for the drop shot every single point, which feels weird because, of course, he's not tired to a point where he needs to, right? I mean, that's not it. That's not it. I don't think so.
I mean, might have been the right choice, but it was very poorly executed anyway.
One of the favorite experiences. That's kind of surprising. It sounds pretty scary, actually.
Yeah. Maybe if it was a lion, I might have felt more intimidated.
Yeah.
I mean, I know hyenas can do you a lot of damage, but there is something less sort of dog-like in appearance. Plus, they laugh a lot, so that sort of takes away some of the scariness. It's going to get worse now for Cam. Yeah. So it's 2-5. It's just one mini break, but of course, a lot of pressure now on the Brit. 2-5 down with these two serves. Probably going to have to win both of these points. Of course, you do get a little bit more leeway in terms of 10-point tie breaks. So 2-5, Cam to serve, goes wide on the first serve. So second serve here for Alexander Zverev to look at. Oh, it's a double fault. 2-6. Cam Norrie pressure. I mean, he wasn't really under pressure in that Indian Wells final.
Wasn't it like 3 sets? No.
Was it? Oh, okay. I thought it was straight sets for Cam.
I don't
okay.
know. I don't know. I might be misremembering it. It's honestly not the like most, clear memory that I have in my mind.
No, hits one double fault, of course, all match. And of course, now he hits another one in this tiebreak. And that's really good from Sasha. Just taking charge at that point where Norrie was just sort of, not the Norrie that we'd seen throughout the fifth set. Super short, that ball. And Zverev, one of the best backhands in the game. Punishes him. And at 2-5, I said, two big holds needed here, and he loses both of them. So now Zverev 7-2, he leads with a couple of serves to come. Backhand return from Cam. Now it's on the backhand of Cam. Probably has to win both of these points on the Sasha serve. And he doesn't win the first one, so it's 8-2 Zverev. Sometimes I wonder with tennis players, and I'm not suggesting it's going to happen with Norrie here, but whether they kind of start to accept defeat at this point. And maybe even go through the motions a little bit.
Depends. Yeah. I once had a famous tournament comeback from 2-9 to 11-9 in the deciding tiebreak.
Oh, wow. I was thinking about incredible tennis.
I didn't believe until some point. No, but that's actually the tennis, straight up tennis.
Yeah.
Not table tennis. But yeah, table tennis recently I was like 2-10 down in the final set against someone, and I was thinking just make him earn it, just whatever happens, just make him earn it. But I wasn't actively thinking I was gonna win. No. It got to 8-11 or something, so my goal was actually fulfilled. I did make him earn it. Yeah.
Cam puts a forehand into the net, and we've got 6 match points. Yeah, when you're in the advantage position, of course. So let's say right now Zverev at 9-3, or let's go back 1 point to 8-3. Cam wins 2 or 3 points in a row, and then you start panicking a bit. It gets to 8-6, for example. right now it would probably have to get to about 9-7, 9-8 before you would start to panic. Of course, you can be too relaxed for the next 2 points. Norrie here 3-9, so you can be too chilled and just go, you know what, I'm just going to go big on this return, and you miss it and you don't care. So Norwich serve 3-9. First serve goes into the net. Don't double fault. Okay, really soft second serve there. And now we're into the rally. Really good forehand down the line from Sasha Zverev. And it's enough to earn him the victory in the 5th set. So Cam Norrie is out, and Zverev will await the winner of Miomir Kecmanović and Carlos Alcaraz. With Alcaraz up a serve and a break, am I right?
Yeah.
And in fact, he has a set point, I think. So, an intriguing quarterfinal awaits. Zverev, is that his first? No, because he was in the Slam quarterfinal in New York. So,
first since the injury you were going for.
I was about to say that, yeah.
No, but there's also the French. He was in the semis at the French.
Of course he was, yeah.
He repeated that. Wasn't quite as impressive, which is why I understand why you don't remember it, because because of his semifinal performance, right, and how he lost to Ruud without any real story there. I think that's why we don't remember it. Like, for a moment, I was also not coming up with it.
The day was dominated as well by the Alcaraz Djokovic thing.
Yeah, exactly. So Zverev Ruud was never a match, so that's why we don't actively remember it. But he did repeat his Roland Garros semi, which of course helped him massively ranking-wise. I think if he lost in the opening round there, he would have been like 70 or something. So probably a very different trajectory for the season as well, given that he would have had so much work to do.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, he actually still ended up making the ATP finals.
So Alcaraz may get this done in pretty quick time. I mean, obviously, it looks like now we've got a game point for Kecmanović, though.
Yeah, I'm back to the stream now.
And I think at least one other point, Matthew, but there's probably others where he probably could have and should have done more. Cam, just towards the end there was one where he was sort of hitting balls short, and Zverev was gaining both in confidence and momentum. Of course, he hits one double fault all match, and then he hits another one in the tiebreak. And I did just sort of see a slightly anxious-looking Cam as he was taking that second serve, funny enough. But yeah, and basically the tiebreak was just completely different to the rest of the set, which is often the case because tiebreaks are a different mental beast to the rest of the set and the rest of the match. And Zverev just stayed solid as he had done throughout the match, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Zverev has sort of got away with a lot this event. Like, got away with being the more passive player in a lot of these matches. Now, this is where he needs to step it up. Like, if he is to win the title or even get to the semis, he will need to start actually hitting through the forehand and just being more confident in his shots, I suppose. But of course, for now, it's fine. He sort of does the minimum, I guess, planned for him. Like, does the minimal task at hand, and now this is when he will have an opportunity. Whereas for now, he was just sort of playing for what he expected from himself.
Yeah. Jake, I don't really know. To be honest with you, I think if it wasn't for the hope of getting last ball drops at some point, then I would say yes. But I might sleep through Zheng and then wake up for last ball drops, because I know Mario can't do last ball drops, and it's kind of a Europe-based only thing really in Australia, because at least during the week, as I go through my phone looking at the different options, they're quite thin, because of course even the Europeans are mostly going to work,
unless they're bums like me and
If their bums
They
like
have all
you.
the time in the world.
Yeah. In the past, I think I've done some kind of iteration of last ball drops after the quarterfinals. I can't remember exactly what I've done, but what I might do is just do something after each quarterfinal. Just get someone to join and then just cut it as a reflection. I'll do it spontaneously.
Because today is still the fourth round, right? Yeah.
Today's the last fourth round.
I keep forgetting. Yeah. After the quarters, I don't think it really makes sense.
Oh, definitely not after the quarters, but even during the quarters, I can't remember what I've done in the past.
No. I mean during. I meant during, like after the quarters, as in after the quarterfinal matches. So that's what.
The thing is, because of the quarterfinals, I'm hoping to cover every single one. I may as well just stay live on the fourth one on each day.
Yeah.
And do a sort of any period of time reprisal of the previous 4 matches. Because what we've often done, not always, but I think we have almost every day not covered the last match. Because I don't remember having to end a stream and then jump over and do a last ball drop. So for whatever reason, we were not commentating on the last match, if you like, where the ball was dropping.
Yeah, I guess.
Which has been fine.
That's by design, or is it just
not really, but I think it has worked quite well like that. But actually now, because we definitely won't be doing that for the next 2 days, probably first of the tournament, it then makes sense to just commentate on the fourth match tomorrow, which will be Sinner Rublev, I think.
Yeah.
And then just say, right, let's have a chat about the 4 matches and stay live on that. Because I think also
the last one, yes.
What you get is people that have been watching streams elsewhere sometimes come over to us from those streams if we're still live, if you like, and we will stay live. And we get most of our views for those shows actually after. I see during the stream, a nice bunch of people join, but nothing sensational. But then 7 hours later, I go, oh, we got 400 views on that one. Okay, that's not bad.
Garcia Osaka, when they were playing, was their last ball drop show right away? No, I don't think so. I'm looking for the schedules, but I guess.
I know, but we did cover that one, but maybe that was the first match on Laver that night.
Yeah, I think no, that was the last one. I'm looking for the schedules, but I think Oger Aliassime and team went much further into the night.
Yeah, and maybe I just counted that one as the last ball drop, if you like. But Becker's trying to work out the iPad. They're analyzing Kecmanović, Zverev.
That's 2 sets to love up for Alcaraz. Has Kecmanović had a break point? I don't think so, right? So, of course, that's something he has to look at in the next sets.
Yeah, right. So, according to TNS, anyway, Alcaraz is 2 from 4, and Kecmanović yet to garner one. Alcaraz serving top 10 in the world?
Nah, I think top 10 is too much. You would find a lot more bigger servers, better servers out there. Maybe on clay, I can buy it, or maybe, but yeah, on hard courts now, I think there's a lot more players. It's like top 20 maybe, but no, not top 10.
Alcaraz on the return, top 3, top 2, top 4.
It's a mixed bag. Sometimes he's just... Actually, sometimes it's leading to him losing matches. And it's both first and second. Like sometimes he just has no rhythm on the first, especially to his forehand. Sometimes on the second, he just tries going for it and again, can't find it really. But sometimes, of course, it's pretty glorious as well. And the aggression, also getting the first strike in. For example, the Alcaraz Medvedev Wimbledon semi. Like that's totally a top two returning performance from Alcaraz. Like when you're talking about not top 2 in his life, but like top 2 in terms of the quality, right? That you can get on the tour really. The final was fine as well, but I think Medvedev was especially striking with like this was supposed to be the advantage for Medvedev, the serve on grass.
Yeah.
And Alcaraz just was taking over points with the first strike, literally on return. So I think that was probably some of his best returning work in recent months. But he's also had matches where it actually is the main issue. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag for sure. As many things in his game, like he still doesn't have a full grasp of like, what to do at a given moment, right? Yeah, Qin Van Zheng against Ocean Dodin. That should be pretty exciting too. Balls will be hit hard. They will barely survive against the power of Dodin. Let's see if she can find the court. And also, of course, first up, Carlos Alcaraz has to finish off his match, but it's not looking like a challenge for now. And indeed, he is like really free-flowing, just loose, hitting the shots that he wants to, not necessarily the percentage stuff, and hitting a lot of hot shots in the process.
Feels this run of Alcaraz at the moment feels a bit New York-esque in the way it's happening, but there's some lingering concerns or doubts, although maybe they were slightly different in New York, of a different nature.
What are the lingering doubts and concerns about Alcaraz here in Australia?
Lingering here in Australia?
Yes.
Yeah, for me, yeah. For me, I mean, you've already mentioned it, that this might be a slightly trickier one for him to win compared to, say, the US Open, in terms of the court speed, etc. I also think his form, until we see him just bring it to Sinner or Djokovic, whether he wins that match or not, I think.
Yeah, but that's like Sinner being suddenly in the conversation, whereas at the US Open, you just had Djokovic and Alcaraz as the two only contenders. And the fact that Sinner is here, like, it's not really a concern relating to Alcaraz or his level of performance, right?
I just think the doubts about Alcaraz is like, when was it we last saw him bring it? And it's Cincinnati. It's quite a while.
That's not really true. I mean, he's had some excellent performances along the way.
Not for me.
I know they haven't. I mean, I don't care that they haven't come in like the semis or the final. They were still pretty insane from time to time.
And his confidence, has it been there? It's been missing something. Something's been missing, but I don't know what.
I mean, certainly there today,
And that was
playing
missing
with like extreme
Kecmanović.
confidence.
I'm going to dip out of the stream for a little while, but in fact, I'm going to stay front stage, like I did before, but I'm just going to do a couple of tasks.
Yeah, lots of fun points right now as well in this first game of the third set. Earlier it was Kecmanović eventually getting Carlos to like have to hit off the back foot and finishing it off with a volley. This time the lob is a little better. Kecmanović gets it back in with this backhand overhead, which was just a little too weak, and Alcaraz takes it down the line for a winner. Breakpoint up already in the first game of the third set, which, seeing as how this has been going so far, this very well could end the match. Inside in forehand, really nice counter from Kecmanović, but Alcaraz is also there. Again, the movement is just insane from both players. Kecmanović hitting that wide forehand so well, like opening up the court, but eventually Alcaraz just gets it all back, and eventually the backhand down the line is too much for Kecmanović to handle. So there is that break already in the first game of the third set. And yeah, this has been a good Alcaraz performance, absolutely. I mean, he's just flying out there, really. This is the exciting version of his game, when you just see him dominate someone, but he does it in a way that's not boring, but he just hits a ton of ridiculous shots along the way. Shelton Djokovic Grand Slam final is a wish for Jake. Yeah, any Shelton Djokovic match would be cool. I honestly have to say, though, that all the questions that Djokovic is getting about Shelton, it's so ridiculous. Like, people have turned this into something that it really wasn't in the first place. The feud that apparently people sort of think is between them, I mean, it's really a made up thing, let's be honest. But would I like to see a Shelton-Djokovic match? Yes, and we could have had a chance for this in the forefront here. It would have been a more dangerous matchup for Djokovic than Manarino was, for sure. But would Ben have it in him already to defeat him? Probably not. There's definitely a bit of a contrast between this Zverev performance of today and the Alcaraz performance of today, I have to say. I don't know if this means that Carlos will necessarily win their quarterfinal easily, but I think it does sort of strengthen his position as the favorite. Yes, that's I would go for that. Yeah, I mean he is kind of too flashy for his own good even right now, but actually that return from Kecmanović was out, so it was okay, but he was still trying to take it like behind the back. Doesn't get a clean contact on it really, but yeah, he's just really loose at the moment. And again, as I said at the beginning, this has been loose in a positive way, not in a way that makes you hit 1,000 unforced errors and just go for broke on every shot. This is sort of loose to an extent that so far at least he is able to maintain, and he is able to like give himself the option to go for something like that. Part of that is, of course, Kecmanović not being really up to par, whether it's more the 2-5 setters or the general quality difference that we have between the two. It's hard to say. But yeah, I don't think it's ever really a good matchup for Kecmanović, other than, of course, when he was like truly at the absolute peak of his powers in that early 2022 swing. I don't know if he's fully there. He was also playing very good the last couple of months. So you could argue that this is, again, Kecmanović performing above his usual level. And I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that. Definitely not. But after the 2-5 setters, it seems like he can't really bring it today, at least. He also wasn't like perfect on the way, but he did play some more aggressive tennis, I guess, in the Struve Paul matches. Even Watanuki, he was serving very well against. That was already a pretty tricky opener. So it's still an amazing run for Miomir, but unless he can find something really soon, he might be going home. No Juan Carlos Ferrero, of course, in the Alcaraz box, as it was a big sort of topic of conversation before the event, but nothing crazy about it, right? I mean, he still has a solid team behind him. His father is also there, I see. So the support is there. The coaches as well, other than Ferrero, are there. So, but of course, it could have been a topic, especially if Alcaraz lost in the first week, or if he, and then also the lack of a warm up event would have been raised as something that potentially caused the early loss. The same for Medvedev and Sinner, really. But now that we have all of them in the quarterfinals, it's pretty clear that it didn't impact them all that much. Although Medvedev did come close to losing, and he was pretty rusty at first. Alcaraz did have that match against Sonego as well, which could have gone 5. It's only just Sinner who's been progressing through the draw with absolutely zero fuss about it and just giving us a very clear idea that Rublev is probably going to be one of the title favorites here. Of course, at this stage of the event, we are only left with 9 players in the men's draw, so it's not that big a compliment, but I think even after the first 2 rounds, like Sinner just instantly showed that, okay, so he's for real here, and it's not going to be a dip after the great finish to the 2022 season. Which, for example, Rune, of course, after winning Paris in 2022, he wasn't really ready to win a slam at the Australian Open yet. Of course, it's very different as well, since Sinner is 2 years older, but Kecmanović saves another breakpoint, this time just goes for a +1 backhand. Alcaraz can't quite get to it. Tries to scramble, tries to catch it on the stretch, but no. I think that's out. Kecmanović, some second serve to look at. Let's see if Alcaraz can get the double break here, which certainly would feel like it ends the match. But he does go for broke on the forehand return, and it's like way wide of the court. So another breakpoint though, and this time Alcaraz is in the rally, trading backhands with Kecmanović. Now he's gonna go for another forehand cross down the forehand cross on the run, and it's just insane how well he's hitting that shot today. Again, probably doesn't need to hit it like this, but holy hell! I mean, when he does, it's just such a ridiculous shot. He's really finding that forehand cross on the run, just absurdly well today. And you could already see that he's going to be lining up for it. Like he literally took like a couple of Sonic the Hedgehog type of steps, you know. He was just speeding up and then boom. And of course, he managed to get it in as well. So two breaks now in the third set, and this match feels like it's practically over at this stage, given that Kecmanović also hasn't had a break point really in the entire match. Interesting comment about Zverev on my Twitter. Someone says that cannot for the life of me believe he's number 6 in the world. Just looks so ordinary every time he plays. I can understand what he's going for, but at the same time, is Zverev really ordinary? I mean, he does have a pretty special world-class backhand, absolutely. He has a great serve. I mean, really the percentages, while with the power and the angles, that's not something you can fully teach to someone. That also takes a lot of talent. The forehand, if he's going after it, like if he's confident in it, it's pretty good. I think his touch is great as well. His movement around the court, his defensive footwork, despite the height. Yeah, I guess I can't really understand the comment, but I said that I can maybe not understand what he's going for. It's just because, yeah, he sometimes struggles to separate himself from like all these lesser players, I suppose, to him, and basically makes this a huge slog, just like he did today, for example. And he just was so tentative in the fifth set, in the parts of the match that I watched, that I understand what the guy is going for. But I also think that Zverev has some obvious talent. Kecmanović is there with the dead net court revenge, but that's not really gonna help at this stage. Like, that's not as impactful, of course, as the one that Carlos broke with in the opening set. And a couple of points ago, also a phenomenal drop shot from Alcaraz, just so well hidden. Kecmanović didn't even flinch and could only watch along with the rest of us all around the world as the ball barely bounces on the other side of the net. 40-15. And now it's 4-love, of course. Carlos Alcaraz really close to securing his spot in the quarters. Can Kecmanović avoid the bagel? The first couple of points here say yes. Sorry if I was a little out of it. I was just replying to a message. Anyway, they are trading backhands now. Kecmanović feels pretty good in the pattern, and he's giving the initiative here to Alcaraz with a couple of loopier forehands. But their idea was right. Like, he was standing pretty close to the baseline, trying to take time away. But yeah, this is a rough matchup, and he's probably not at his freshest either. Doesn't help that Alcaraz just came out onto the course today with the utmost confidence in himself and like just never really had any care in the world. Yeah, this is brutal if Kecmanović loses this point because he plays an excellent rally, but the shots that Alcaraz is getting back like on the defense is Kecmanović did everything right, but eventually that lob from Alcaraz is really deep. He has to play the smash like pretty passively, and he loses the point with this forehand approach shot. Yeah, but this is just like Alcaraz getting a few shots back that he kind of had no right to, or at least had no right to get them back in this way. So it's just like everything is working today for Alcaraz. I don't know if it actually will, matter when he plays someone like Sinner or Djokovic, because of course these matchups will be very different. But today he is both loose and simply in rhythm, in the zone, if you may. Kecmanović, though, chance to get on the board in the third set, 40-30. To sort of what John said a couple of minutes ago about players potentially not believing anymore, I wonder if you're Kecmanović, are you really, thinking, I'm going to win this match at this stage? Probably not. And here we see the upside of Alcaraz's second serve returning. He's taking them so early today, and he just smashes a forehand return winner. invites Kecmanović into the net with the short slice, and Miomir's redrop is not going to be good enough. So another breakpoint for Alcaraz now. And that's another like godlike shot. Kecmanović just tries to go, just pin Alcaraz to the backhand corner, keep going there, and eventually approach the net. But the backhand pass from Alcaraz is again just too strong. So it's 5-love now in the third, and Alcaraz will serve for the bagel in what's been like a perfect performance, like literally flawless from start to finish. We'll see if the finish is also going to be like it. But 5-love. Well, after watching this and watching this Zverev match, it's kind of hard for me to believe in Zverev's chances. But then again, maybe if he just enters the match with a different mindset and knows he needs to go for broke, knows he needs to go after the forehand, maybe. And can he avoid the bagel, Miomir Kecmanović? Still no breakpoints in the entire match, so this is a tough ask. But, some loose errors could happen from Alcaraz. In fact, he was pretty close to one of them with this spinny forehand down the middle, but it just clips the line, and it's Kecmanović who can't put it back into play then. Now that return is going to give Kecmanović a nice opportunity at the inside-out forehand. And he still maintains his chances here. He still keeps himself in the match. So at least he's still, fighting and gets a good point in the potentially last game of the match. Very deep return, and then when he had the chance to go for a big shot, he did go for it. So that return is nice as well, and he should be approaching down the line. Yeah, I don't really know what Alcaraz was going for with the passing shot attempt, but just never got the right either. Well, he got a lot of spin on it at least, but I'm not even sure like what the idea was. Maybe tried to like banana it down the line, but it was just way too centric in terms of the placement, and Kecmanović easily gets it. So 30-all, and maybe a brief opportunity for Kecmanović to get that game on the board, especially if as his next return is also really good. But Alcaraz, again, I mean, the drop shot, the disguise, I think Kecmanović was expecting a drop shot inside out. He actually goes for the line on the forehand. Execution just spot on. What can you do, really, if you're Miomir here? And that's a big serve. So Carlos Alcaraz pushes through to the Australian Open quarterfinals for the first time in his career, obviously, because this is basically only the second time that he's playing it. In the year of 2022, he managed to make the third round, losing to Matteo Berrettini. And also in the year of 2023, of course, he missed it due to an injury. Also, didn't he play it in 2021 as well? Actually, now that I think of it, he qualified, right? And
I think so.
who did he lose to? I don't even remember. Oh, Mikael Immer. Yeah, that's why I don't remember, because this was a pretty weird loss. But anyway, at the time, of course, against a good defender, against a fast scrambler, that was fine. But anyway, yeah, that's just the third appearance of Alcaraz at the Australian Open 2021. He was still a big story when he made it through the qualifying, despite being a big favorite in all his matches. Like, I remember some tough encounters, for example, against Karlovsky. And then 2022, of course, he loses to Berrettini in the third round, which at the time was also a perfectly fine showing. But in the 2 years since, he won 2 Grand Slams. He was number one for many weeks. So the expectations are, of course, much higher now. And he does make the Australian Open quarterfinals for the very first time in his career.
Yeah, and he looks pretty pleased with it, as you'd imagine. A doubles question here, I'm assuming. Hanfmann and Kupfer, or Zheng and Mashak, which one surprises you most, Damien?
The way you say Thomas Mahac is horrible. I'm fine with Mahac. I often say it like this, like with a ch at the end. But Mahac is like probably
What is
the
the
most
problem I'm
common
saying with Frech, by the way,
performance.
Magdalena Frech?
Oh, there's just no Frech. But that's fine. Like
Well,
that's okay. Some people sometimes say it very, a lot worse.
dramatically.
But Mahac, you always say like sort of like Maichak even. Like I at first don't even know who you're talking about a lot of the time. Like Mahac, I'm fine with. If you say Mahac, it's okay. I think the general like Czech pronunciation is Mahac, but yeah, whatever. Really, when it comes to Hanfmann Kepfer, I have to see who they beat, because Mahac and Zhang, they beat Ram Salisbury, so that's obviously a big win. Even if I treat them as a more dangerous pairing than Hanfmann Kepfer, I have to see if the Hanfmann Kepfer wins are more memorable. Yeah, I guess they beat Hijikata Kubler, of course, the defending champs, and the one today against Granollers Zeballos. Yeah, that was pretty huge as well. So I'm probably more surprised by Hanfmann Kepfer, given that they had both had like one elite doubles pairing against each other, plus also Hanfmann Kepfer had Hijikata Kubler, the defending champs, and also the fact that I just treat them as less dangerous than Zhang Mahac. So yeah, I would have to say Hanfmann Kepfer. But I am more excited to watch Zhang Mahac tomorrow. Maybe is there match? I think it is tomorrow against Behar Pavlashek, also one of my favorite pairings. So super pumped for that one. It will be 2 a.m. though, so I wonder if I'm going to make it, since today I slept until like 5 a.m.
Yeah. Let's probably bring this to a swift conclusion, because I think obviously there's going to be another match, but we need to rest, or I certainly do, and we'll have last ball drops as and when that does drop on the Rod Laver match in Zheng coming up very shortly. I did put a poll out earlier, and of course, some people, the 14% that said that he was going to go out today, you were certainly wrong. No one went for the quarterfinal, by the way, but some were suggesting semis and final.
There's no title prediction, so you just sort of went which round. In
the
which
thing
case,
is,
the final is the easiest pick for sure.
The final means he either wins it or ends up being runner-up.
So that's the easiest pick, and I'm not surprised it's winning. Yeah.
I'm surprised that for more people. I mean, it's not a huge amount of votes in this poll, to be fair, but I'm surprised that the today got 1 or 2 votes, whereas the quarterfinal got 0.
That is surprising. Yeah, that today got a couple of votes.
Yeah, although I think I said Kecmanović would take a set, but that was because I had some sort of rose-tinted Estoril-shaped glasses.
Yeah, you only see him at the good events.
Yeah,
So-
I know. Yeah, I know. All right, let's bring this to a close. And I don't know if you're available for last ball drops today, Damien.
What do you think?
I think yes, but I don't know where your energy levels are at right now.
No, they're pretty okay. I slept from maybe about 30 past midnight to 5 a.m. So I have like 4.5 hours of sleep in me, which is probably fine to make it until the next day.
It'll either be with me or Jack. I think that's the two possibles at the moment. Jack is unsure, put it that way. And if it's not Jack, it'll be me. But anyway, so everybody else, like and subscribe and all that other jazz. And yeah, we'll see you all again very soon. So on that bombshell, I'm going to repeat the like and subscribe mantra by playing this video. And Carlos Alcaraz is through to the quarterfinals. He'll play Sasha Zverev. And other players are there too. So yeah, see you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready. Play.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Boris, Becker, Holger, Rune partnership, but you could also tell me about, you know, Holger and 2024 and maybe where he could go and where maybe he needs to improve.
Yeah, I think Boris is a great addition to his team. You know, you've got Holger, who's a young player, somewhat of an impulsive player, unbelievably good at coming forward. You know, this is who Medvedev should look at and just go and look at Holger Rune playing, because anything a little bit short, Holger's all over the net. So, you know, Boris brings credibility to win big titles. When you've got a coach, you know, this great picture you've got there, when you're looking in your coach's eyes and your coach has been number one, your coach has won multiple Grand Slams, has been an icon of our sport from a young age, I think it's a great mix. And, you know, Boris is coming out of personal troubles, and for him to be, you know, readily accepted by the rest of the tennis community and tennis fraternity straight back on tour. Boris was so engaging at in Turin. I was in the front row. He was about 15 seats down on my right, and he was standing constantly to start with, I thought, well, his leg's sore. He needs to stand because, you know, his knee's bad. But, he brought so much energy to Holger and so much positive energy, but also strength as well. So I think that is a really good connection. I think Holger will benefit from that for sure. And I think Holger Rune has an excellent year next year, you know, a really good year. He's got such a good all-court game, probably the best all-court game since Federer retired. So his ability to jump on a short ball, his ability to attack, his ability to serve and volley, his ability to come forward with a forehand down the line when standing with 2 feet behind the baseline is probably the gold standard right now. And he just needs, you know, the forehand can get a bit impulsive. He can spray a bit with that. He can get too antsy when things aren't going his way. You know, you can see them, you know, the nerves go up a little bit. He just needs to stay calm. He needs to chill. He needs to breathe. He needs to take his time. There's nothing that there's no problem that he needs to solve. He just needs to not beat himself. And those are the messages that he needs to really take on board for next year. And, you know, he, at some stage next year, he could be number 2 in the world challenging Novak for number 1.